Hello, beautiful beings of a light. Welcome, welcome, welcome to episode one, the first official episode of This Art Called Life, the podcast. I am just so excited and so honored to be here sharing in this way on this kind of platform because this has been an ongoing journey for me, and it just really feels like a culmination of the journey that I have been on. And so I am just really, really excited to dive deep and to share my journey and a lot of the experiences I've had along the way, as well as the lessons I've learned, because my journey has kind of been all over the place from certain perspectives in hindsight. And honestly, it was just so twisted and windy. I was lost and confused half the time trying to figure out, where is this all leading me? How does this all connect? In hindsight, honestly, it all connects so perfectly. All the dots come together. And this is just my unique path, my masterpiece in the making, if you will. So, for the first episode, I thought we should create a foundational understanding before diving into the story, before diving into my perspective on particular aspects of the world and how we can utilize our experiences to move forward. What is this journey really about, though, before we even dive into the journey itself? What is this about? So, the name of the podcast itself, This Art Called Life, implies that it is our artwork. Life is our masterpiece in the making. So, the journey of self mastery to me is that of creating our masterpiece. And that is what I want to dive into in this first episode, the journey of self mastery. So, really, you are a masterpiece in the making. Your life is your ever evolving, ongoing masterpiece. And the truth is, you already are a masterpiece, one that is constantly evolving and expanding, and we're adding more depth and nuance to the picture. And it's just been such a profound realization for me in the last several months, honestly, that this has been my journey. It has been one of self mastery. And as I deepened into that understanding, I was like, oh, this is what it's all about. And I don't claim to be a master of myself or anything for that matter at this point in time. The idea is we are here to constantly evolve and expand and grow. We are here to actualize our potential in some capacity. And as humans, we are never going to quote unquote get there. And what is there? I mean, honestly, probably from a spiritual perspective, there would probably be enlightenment, because we are always seeking something in this human experience. And what is it that we are actually seeking? The way I perceive it, the way I understand it, is that we are honestly seeking ourselves. We are honestly seeking a truth that already lies within us. And the journey is to uncover that. The journey is to dig deep, to find that buried treasure that actually lies within. It's already there. That pot of gold on the other side of the rainbow, it's already within us. It's already in our heart, but we have to excavate through all the muck, the dirt, the mud that is there. It reminds me a little bit, as I speak, of the lotus coming up from the mud, and it finds its beauty by going through that process of emerging from the mud, blossoming into its beauty. But it has to go through the muck and the grime to be able to blossom, to be able to flourish, to be able to shine. Just like, also an analogy that I use a lot of the time is the caterpillar going into the chrysalis. It has to become goo there before it can emerge with the wings emerge as the brilliant, beautiful butterfly that it is. And the caterpillar doesn't know what's going on. The caterpillar doesn't understand who it's becoming or what it's becoming. It just has to become goo first. So, whatever analogy works for you, the dark night of the soul, the caterpillar becoming goo to become the butterfly, the snake shedding its skin, the phoenix rising from the ashes. This is the alchemical journey that we are all on, and it is such an honor to be able to experience it. It's such a gift to be able to experience this beautiful magical life with all of its pain and the suffering, because without the pain, how can we know the joy? And without the suffering, how can we know the love? So we live in this world of polarity and contrast so that we can transcend and fully know, fully understand what it is to feel love, what it is to feel joy. So let's dive in. That was all just coming through me. So I hope that landed. I hope that resonated. And for me, really, the journey of self-mastery is about coming to know thyself, self-gnosis, inner gnosis, to pull on those more esoteric tradition terms. And for me, this lifetime that we are all incarnated at this particular time on the world, this is about remembrance. This time right now for humanity is about remembering who we really are, how powerful we really are. It's about reclaiming our truth, reclaiming our power. So, I have a lot more that I would like to share about self mastery. So, let's continue on. It really is the journey of evolution and expansion into our highest potential. It is the expansion of consciousness, the way I perceive it. So, it brings us on this step-by-step journey across a river, if you will. I've had a vision of the river of abundance before. So it's like we have to get to the other side to fully experience the full abundance of life. Because on this side of the river, depending on where you are in your journey, maybe you're a couple steps across already. But when we're on the opposite side of the river, it feels so far away, the abundance. We feel in lack, in scarcity, unworthy, feeling anger or resentment, pain, grief, whatever it is, the fullness of the human experience includes all of that. None of us are immune to pain or suffering. Even though some people may look like they have got it all together on the outside, you don't know what they're actually experiencing on the inside. They may have external wealth, but be rather empty and impoverished internally. So, there is a universality to our experience, and we all have our unique road. We all have our unique path that we are here to journey on, because we come at life with our own lessons to learn. Again, universality to so many of these lessons, which is why listening to one story can really impact you at a very deep, profound level, even if your own story has its own different nuances. However, we also recognize that we each have to take responsibility for how we get to the other side, because you're the only one that is you right now. So you are here we are all here. I am here, you are here, we are here to come to know ourselves and what it is that is not in alignment with our highest expression, our most brilliant version of the masterpiece. What is blocking us from experiencing the fullness of beauty and joy and love and magic that is here for us all, the abundance, the prosperity, however we define that. And to me, abundance is abundance of all things. So we are all here to figure out what it is that is blocking us from experiencing that fullness. So It's this survival to grace, victim to empowered kind of journey that we are on. So it is really about going deep within and acknowledging both our light and our dark, our gifts and our shadows. And to me, again, it's more of a path than a destination. It is about the journey itself. Life is about the journey, right? So the masterpiece in the making is we are constantly painting our masterpiece as we go through life. And it's all the texture, both the dark and the light, that makes our own masterpiece so intriguing. So it's an orientation and a commitment to never ending improvement when we choose to continue forth on this journey of self mastery. So, again, a process of becoming, of transcending the ego to become the highest version of self that is available to us in this lifetime. So, the way I have come to understand it is that expansion, when I talk about expansion, I mean expansion of frequency, expansion of our experience of life. This is really about actualizing our potential to experience all the beauty and magic, to experience the excitement, the joy, the love, the wonder, the awe, whatever it is that you are here to experience, right? In whatever form that looks like from the outside, we are all here to experience those beautiful expansive emotions. So again, that's the journey of self mastery, the way I perceive it. So it's about becoming bigger than your little ego self and achieving that sense of fulfillment. So sense of fulfillment is a really, I think, what most of us are striving for more so than happiness. Happiness gets a little fluffy, I suppose, but fulfillment is this, it's really this deep sense of satisfaction with being fully engaged in life, with your experience of life. And that doesn't mean it has to look any certain way. It's really an individual thing that we have to tune into. What is it that is going to make me feel fulfilled and satisfied? And this is, again, that journey of coming into deeper awareness of who we are, what is our unique expression, what are we here to do on this magical playground called Earth, and how are we here to serve? How are we here to help light up the world with our gifts? Because, oh my goodness, we all know the world needs a little bit more light and magic in it right now, or a lot of it, because, yeah, it's kind of chaotic. So, here we all are at this time. We are here to help lift collective consciousness. If you are here listening to this, this is no accident. It's all synchronicity. There's always a reason for it, the way I perceive and understand this journey. So you are here for a reason, both here listening right now and here on earth for a reason. So this is not a time to play small. And that has been a huge part of my own journey is allowing myself to stay small because of old woundings, because of old limiting beliefs, the unworthiness, the not good enough. I had a strong orientation toward perfectionism. I'm a Virgo. So there's a lot of layers of trauma and emotional wounds that I had to work through to sit here and do a podcast, start a podcast. That was, if you had asked me when I was younger that, or told me rather, that I would be doing this, I would have probably thought you were nuts. If anybody had said, oh, yeah, one day you're going to host a podcast and allow yourself to be seen and heard in such a potentially broad way, I would have been like, are you nuts? I'm going to go run and hide in the corner right now. I was the shyest, the quietest. Every single report card, the teacher, every single class, really, the teacher would say, Amanda needs to speak up more in class. Amanda needs to speak up more in class. I would get great grades, like straight A student, but I was so painfully shy, so painfully quiet. And here I am. So this is really honestly a huge part of my journey. And yeah, I'm just super honored and grateful to be here right now. So to get back into this overarching journey, when I think of self mastery, it does remind me of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So my own background is in psychology, and Maslow's hierarchy of needs is about the base of it is getting our basic survival physical needs met, and the top of it is actualization. But we cannot reach that transcendent state without our physical needs being met. So without a strong foundation, it's a house of cards that's going to fall down. You can jump forward and try to get enlightened at all as much as you want, but if you're skipping the shadow work, if you're bypassing, that's what spiritual bypassing is really. Toxic positivity is another label for that. We're not really digging into what is triggering us, what is pulling us out of our joy, what is causing us to react rather than respond with grace and compassion. All of that stuff, that's the stuff that we got to work through in this lifetime if we want to reach those actualized transcendent states. And even if it's really just about experiencing more love and joy, not all of us right now have this goal to be enlightened. And I completely expect and respect that most people are not going to have that lofty of a goal in this lifetime. I'm not going to say it's not possible for us, but at the end of the day, I think that is a little ways coming for the bulk of humanity. So it's really just about coming into that space of wholeness. Wholeness has really been a huge part of my journey, the orientation that has guided me. I knew I had to heal more to feel that inner state, but that was the word that came to me a few years ago like, oh, healing back to wholeness. This is the journey. And the exact phraseology, it has shifted, but really to me, wholeness is a state of self mastery. Because when you are feeling whole, you're not going to fall into trigger and reaction and blame and shame and all of those states that really pull us out of our power. So this is also, again, that foundation being really key. It's also about having a strong, clean, healthy, pure vessel and regulated nervous system that has the capacity to hold higher frequencies. So, if we want to talk about ascension, it's really embodied ascension. We have to be in the body holding those frequencies. This isn't about, just escaping this world. This isn't about, escapism whatsoever. That's actually going to hinder us on the journey. If we say, oh, I just want to leave, I'm ready to go home, or we want to just pretend like an airy fairy little spiritual, fairy running around the world, which I've done a little bit of myself, but it was not at face value, it might have looked like that. Of course, we are here to experience that. So it's like I got to have tastes of that magical experience of pure synchronicity, of pure love and flow. It's really about stepping into ease, flow, and grace. But we cannot skip the deeper inner work. We have to stay grounded here on earth as well. So this to me is really about being the bridge, being the rainbow bridge, which I can get into in more depth in a future episode. So again, to me, self mastery is where biology, psychology, spirituality, and even the quantum realm, the quantum sciences, this is where they're all merging. So the body is our temple, and the outer is a reflection of the inner. So if we're not treating our body like the vessel that it is, the beautiful temple that it is for our soul's experience of life here on earth, then we're not going to be able to experience that fullness of our soul. And that is it's going to get in the way. It's really going to get in the way. So it's about getting our physical needs met from a sense of treating ourselves with respect too. Do you respect your body? Respecting your body is, feeding it what it wants, not from a desire craving perspective, but what it really needs to thrive. So that includes rest, that includes self-care, let nutrient dense food, all of that. And then we get into the mindset. Is our mind a heaven or is it a hell? That's a paraphrase of I think it's a John Milton quote. The mind is its own place and can make a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven. That one has stuck with me for years now. So, mastery of our emotions is also a really key aspect of this mastery of our inner world. So, there's just so many layers to this journey, but it all comes together. Like all the different layers of our body merge into one, into this wholeness of being when we step into mastery of all these aspects of self. And I'm not saying we get there and we stay there forever, but again, it's this orientation of continually going deeper, of continually excavating those things that make us fall out of grace. So, really, in a nutshell, this is the hero's journey. This is the hero's journey that is life. We are all here on the hero's journey. There's a reason that that myth and that archetype is so prevalent because we all express through these archetypes. We all express through this mythology that has really been here from the beginning to show us what the path is, to show us what the journey is. We've just become disconnected from those truths. We've just become disconnected from what it's trying to show us. We see it all as fiction and fun and fantasy, but really, it's showing us the way forward. All those myths are deep in our collective consciousness. This is where they come from. So, again, this is about reconnecting with our ancient past so that we can transcend all of it, integrate it all into a much more expansive future. The trajectory that humanity is on is one of expanding and increasing frequency. We're elevating our frequency and therefore our collective experience here on earth. But we've got to work through a lot of the muck for us to fully experience that heaven on earth kind of energy. So, this is a call to action for anybody who's listening to really, really choose this path to dig deep, not just for ourselves, but for the whole, for the collective, because this is why we are all here incarnated right now. So, most of us do experience resistance on this journey, and that's super natural. But the resistance comes up as a way to test us almost. It is our fear and our old patterns that result in self-sabotage that keep us out of our true potential, that keep us out of our abundance. So it's about rising above the fear and breaking through that resistance as it comes up. That is what a true master does, is they keep going forward, right? So there's also this layer of indifference that I feel has come through the collective consciousness. A lot of people have kind of just accepted the status quo and said, oh, there's not much I can do. They feel helpless, they feel hopeless. There are a lot of disempowering narratives out there, and it's not serving our highest good. So, this idea of love versus fear has come up. I like to look at it as, is this empowering or disempowering? If it's disempowering, that's a fear timeline, that's an illusion. That is not something that's going to serve your highest good. The alternative is this empowering? If it lights you up, if it excites you, if it makes you feel more confident, more inspired, that is aligned with love. And that is truth. The truth is love, truth with a capital T, the way I perceive it. And that is the direction that we are being called to go on. So if there is a situation, a relationship, a storyline, a narrative in your life that is disempowering you, it's constricting your energy field, it's making you want to just give up, throw in the towel, it's making you feel helpless or even hopeless, there is always the option to choose different. There's always the option to tune in and say, is this for my highest good? Do I have to choose this? Does this have to be my reality? Is this truth? And I would venture to guess that it's probably not, that there's probably another alternative that is more empowering, more inspiring, more expansive for you. Because to me, that is the truth of humanity. We are here to constantly grow and evolve. So if we're feeling stuck, life is going to come in and just sweep the rug out from underneath us so it wakes us up. That's usually what happens. Crisis, on the other side of it lies opportunity, but that's a mindset, that's a choice that we have to make. But life will keep testing us and keep asking us to move forward more and more, keep taking those steps into self-mastery, into growth, into expansion. So I also want to make it clear that there's a great degree of self awareness involved in this path. So, self awareness is super key to identify the blocks, identify the resistance, and have the awareness as to when you are not actually operating in alignment with your highest good, when you are falling into that disempowered storyline. And is about finding creative solutions and resourceful ways to move through whatever the blocks are. So there's something else here that I want to be really clear about is the nuance between expertise and mastery. So an expert is, there's an emphasis on skills, techniques, systems. We have this idea of trusting the experts, but this is actually it's not kind of, it is a disempowering perception. It's a disempowering narrative because the very notion of an expert is that this person or this group of people is above you. So if they are above you, you're automatically disempowered. If you put their opinion above your inner knowing, you are automatically placed in a situation of disempowerment. You're denying your inner wisdom, your intuition, your sovereignty. So this is really something that I see a lot in particularly the medical industry, the healthcare industry, and even psychology. There's these are different episodes. I will not go into all these nuances right now. But to me, so stay tuned for that because there are so many layers to unpack there. But there's a lot of disempowering narratives when we perceive somebody else to be the expert on us and our situation. They may not be seeing the full truth. So the emphasis to me should rather be on the human spirit that enlivens skills and systems and allowing that spirit, that soul to express through us. So people can become addicted to information. They can become addicted to techniques and they can become restricted by certain systems and structures. And this is the process that we have to go through, is transcending all of that. So mastery is not about controlling our basic impulses either. It is nor is it about dominating the darker parts of self. Just to be really clear, when we're transcending it, we are transmuting it, to use these alchemical terms. It's about integrating the lessons, integrating the power that's been locked by not seeing outside of the box, the power that has not, and the creativity that has not been unleashed. When we dominate and push down and control, that's still a suppression mechanism that is not serving our highest expression. So it's about really integrating everything. So again, it's about transcending the shadows. And, underneath the shadows, there's always these golden nuggets. So, the golden nuggets of wisdom that come from facing the demons, that's where our power lies. That's where our creativity lies. So, this is how we step into true prosperity, true wholeness. And honestly, it's our destiny to step into self mastery. It's our destiny to be whole, to actualize our potential. And if we deny that, if we shut down those little niggles that are calling us to follow a certain path that lights us up, that's only going to bring us disappointment, anger, frustration, depression, anxiety, even because we are feeling blocked at a soul level. We just haven't, as a society, been using these terms so much, soul, spirit. We've become very disconnected from that. But this, I think, is underlying a great deal of the ills in society right now is people, their spirits are depressed. Their spirits are compressed. And again, a whole other episode to get into that. But this is what's keeping us out of our potential. This is what's keeping us out of fulfillment, of love, of joy, of abundance. And we're all playing small. Collectively, humanity is still playing small. We don't even know how incredible our potential is. And from a spiritual perspective, I will dive into that in more depth again, future episode. There's just so much that we are only beginning to realize is available to us. Epigenetics, quantum physics, all these sciences are emerging themselves into a much more expanded perception that is in alignment with the truth of the universe that is ever expanding. So, again, we'll dive into all this magic because there is so much to unpack there. But this is, how we find freedom, how we find fulfillment. And this is the journey of life to be ever expanding. And it's how it's what we're here to do. It's who we're here to be, is to be that whole version of self that is in alignment with self mastery. So it's not an easy journey. I will never pretend that it is, but embracing the unknown, embracing the uncertainty is part of the path. And this is what allows us to break free by stepping out of the comfort zone. So this is not the easiest process, but it's like we don't really have a choice right now. Look at the collective. Look at the world around us. Everything is breaking down. There is more uncertainty than ever. The only certainty that we have comes from within. This is the age that we are in, the age of anxiety, the age of uncertainty. But we are in this massive shift in humanity, in the collective consciousness, where things are being shaken up because they were built on a foundation of paper, of cards, and it was not designed to last. And that's ultimately for our highest good. So, what can we do to face this uncertainty is to find the certainty within, to create that certainty from within, as within, so without. So, when we heal ourselves, when we show up fully empowered in ourselves, that has a ripple effect into humanity as well. So, this is about going through that crucible of transformation so that we can come out the other side empowered, liberated, free. And this is why we are all here right now. So there are so many things that I would like to get into, but we're gonna wrap it up here today. I'm gonna wrap it up here because this is a lot to unpack already, and I have so much more to share with you. So I hope that some of these little nuggets twisted or tweaked a little bit your perception that there's something in here that landed for you and may have shifted something within. So I have so much more to share. I am so excited. Onward and upward. I will be sharing so much more with you. So please subscribe, stay tuned. If you want to leave a little review, I would absolutely appreciate that. Episode 1, Onward and Upward. Here we go. And there are other ways to connect with me. So I will be sharing in more depth in a future episode about my journey and what I have created as an expression of my journey. But yeah, my deeper program is about self mastery. So I'm just super honored to be finally sharing all of this magic with the world. Onward and upward in love and light. I will see you soon.